For years, the whole story around AI has been about what it can do, right? How powerful, how fast, how smart it can get. But the next chapter, the one we're really stepping into by 2026, it's all about a single, much more critical question. Can we actually trust it? And believe me, that shift from sheer capability to real accountability, well, it changes everything. And this quote from Mark Rotenberg just hits the nail on the head. I mean, think about it. AI is already this invisible engine running in the background, making calls on your loan application, your job prospects, even your healthcare. So what happens when a system like that messes up, when it makes a mistake that really impacts your life? Who do you call? If nobody is accountable, that's not just a small problem, it's a massive crisis just waiting to happen. And that brings us to the real heart of the matter for this explainer. As these systems get woven into the very fabric of our lives, how do we build the right guardrails? How do we make absolutely sure these incredibly powerful tools are actually working for us and not against us? The answers are going to define the next decade of technology, for sure. Okay, so before we can even start talking about solutions, we've got to wrap our heads around the scale of the problem. AI's power has just exploded so quickly that it's created a genuine, full-blown trust crisis. And this isn't just some vague feeling people have. The data tells a pretty stark story. Now, this is where it gets a little scary. See, AI doesn't just make simple mistakes. It can hallucinate, which is really just a technical way of saying it can completely invent facts out of thin air and then present them to you as absolute truth. And look at this. Depending on the task, some of these models are doing this anywhere from 15% to a truly shocking 82% of the time. So I have to ask, when an AI can be that confidently wrong, how can we possibly rely on it for anything important? And that unreliability, that's really just the tip of the iceberg. The trust problem is kind of this perfect storm of issues. You've got algorithmic bias, where AI basically learns from our data and just amplifies our worst human prejudices. You've got the explosion of deepfakes, making it harder and harder to know what's real. And it's all wrapped up in this infamous black box problem, where a lot of the time we have literally no idea how the AI even made its decision. And that just shatters any hope for real accountability. This isn't just some abstract ethical debate anymore. It's starting to hit the bottom line. And hard. Forrester is predicting a 20% spike in class action lawsuits over AI errors and privacy breaches. The takeaway here is really simple. For any company using AI today, ignoring these trust issues isn't just irresponsible, it's a massive financial gamble. So how do we even start to fix this thing? Well, the first major response we're seeing from the industry and from regulators is a demand for radical transparency. It's time to crack open that black box. The big solution that's being developed is something called explainable AI, or XAI for short. The best way to think about it is like when your math teacher used to tell you to show your work. It's not good enough for the AI to just spit out the right answer. It has to be able to explain how it got there, step by step. And by 2026, especially in critical fields like medicine or finance, this won't be a nice to have, it's going to be the absolute standard. And just so we're clear, this is not some niche little corner of the tech world. The market for explainable AI is projected to explode to over $33 billion. That number tells you everything you need to know. Trust is no longer just a feature, it's become a product that people and businesses are absolutely desperate to buy. But, transparency is only half the battle. It immediately leads to an even tougher question. If an AI messes up, who's actually responsible? This is forcing a massive global conversation about who's really in control. Right now, legislators are basically wrestling with two main philosophies. On one side, you've got the idea of pure machine autonomy, where AI agents just go off and act independently. Super efficient, maybe, but it creates this huge accountability vacuum. On the other side is what we call mandated human oversight, where a human has to be in the loop for any really critical decision. That makes it clear who's responsible, but yeah, it can slow things down. Figuring out that balance, that's the real challenge. And this whole debate, it's not just theoretical. It is leading to real laws right now. The EU AI Act is a perfect example of these new guardrails being built. We're seeing hard limits on how autonomous an AI can be, new requirements for a human to be in the loop on big decisions, and crystal clear rules on who is legally accountable when things go wrong. And maybe most importantly, there's a mandate to label synthetic media, so you always know if that video or image you're looking at was made by an AI. The Wild West days of AI are officially coming to an end. Okay, so this combination of intense public pressure and brand new regulation is forcing businesses to basically throw out their old playbook and write a new one one that's centered entirely on responsible AI. This chart really shows the new corporate playbook in action. For every single major ethical challenge, a brand new strategy is emerging. So instead of just grabbing all the data they can, companies are now focusing on privacy by design. To deal with intellectual property theft, they're exploring revenue sharing. And to fight bias, they're not waiting for a disaster to happen. They're doing continuous audits from day one. It's a huge shift from damage control to proactive responsibility. What this really signals is a massive cultural shift inside the tech industry itself. You know that old mantra, move fast and break things? When it comes to AI, that is officially dead. It's being replaced by something a lot more mature. Move wisely and earn trust. Suddenly, success isn't just about speed anymore. It's about building something that people can actually rely on for the long haul. And this new philosophy, it's created an entire job market out of thin air. Roles like an AI ethics officer or a responsible AI specialist, these are now some of the most in-demand jobs out there. And these folks aren't just consultants. They're becoming the new guardians inside companies, responsible for making sure that AI is built and used the right way from the very beginning. So, as we start to pull all these threads together, we arrive at the new reality for 2026. Trust is no longer just some lofty, nice-to-have ideal. It has become the single most valuable currency in the entire AI economy. And this quote just nails the new business reality perfectly. In a super crowded market, being able to prove that your AI is fair, that it's audited, that it's countable, that isn't just good ethics. It's a powerful, undeniable competitive advantage. It's the new way brands are going to earn our loyalty. By the time we get to 2026, managing AI responsibly, what we call AI governance, it's going to be a core business function. It'll be treated with the exact same seriousness as financial compliance or cybersecurity. It's becoming a fundamental pillar of modern business, absolutely essential for managing risk and building long-term value. So, when it's all said and done, this is where we land. The biggest test for AI in the coming years has nothing to do with its intelligence. The real test is a test of our integrity. Can we, as creators and as a society, build something this powerful with the wisdom and the responsibility it demands? That is the real question for 2026 and beyond. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.